Okay, in our third part, there's two things that they want us to be mindful of. Number one is that we don't always have to divide by a polynomial of degree 1. So we're going to divide by polynomials of degree 2 or higher. We're going to divide by a quadratic term. And the next time they're going to show you what happens when you divide by a cubic term. So up to this point, they've always been linear. The second thing that they're going to show you is, as every other example we've had prior to this, just as in this one, if you look at your exponents, they go down in order from 3, 2, 1, and 0. So we're looking at just the powers of x. But on this problem, they go from 5 to 4, but it's missing the x to the cube. So we're going to have to remedy that, and that's the other thing. So there's two things to really worry about in these, or to learn from these, and that is you can divide by other things than just linears, and the other thing is there's no problem if you're missing one of those terms in there. We're going to allow for that as well. So we're going to clear the board, and we're going to start with our long division. So I want to take a 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 7x plus 6, and I want to divide it by x squared plus 3x minus 4. Don't change your process. The process is the same. You think about, what do I take x squared times to get a 2x cubed? And that's going to be a 2x. 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. We want to take a 2x times a 3x, and 2x times 3x is plus 6x squared. I want to take a 2x times a negative 4. That's going to be a negative 8x. Correct that, negative 8x. So now we're going to draw the line, and we're going to change the sign so that we can add. So negative, negative, and positive. And these will reduce. We have a 5x squared minus 6x squared, so then we're going to add that with a negative x squared. A 7x plus an 8x is plus x. We've done all of our subtractions, so now we bring down the next term, which is plus 6. Okay, so then we come back to our same strategy. What do I multiply x squared by to get a negative x squared? I have to multiply x squared times a negative 1. A negative 1 times x squared is a negative x squared. A negative 1 times 3x is a negative 3x. A negative 1 times negative 4 is a positive 4. So then we want to draw the line and change the signs. So when we draw the line, change the signs, this becomes plus, plus, minus. Now we add, these will reduce. This is 4x. And then we have positive 6 minus 4. That's a plus 2. This is our remainder. So here's our factor that goes into our polynomial. We got 2x minus 1 with the remainder, so we put plus. The remainder is 4x plus 2. We put it over our divisor, which is x squared plus 3x minus 4. So that's that part. Okay, now in our second example in this, this is the one that we're going to have to make a little modification to our process. We have a 6x to the 5th. We have minus x to the 4th. There's no x cubed term in here, so we want to leave it's almost like leaving a placeholder in division when we have whole numbers or integers, so we're going to put plus 0x cubed. All we're doing is holding a place value. We really haven't changed it because we don't have any of those, so there's no real value change. So plus 12x squared plus 15x. And I know there's not a constant back here, but there's really no need to put plus 0, but if you really like to, you can put plus 0. Divided by, and then we're going to have our divisor is 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus x. Okay, now we'll go through our same strategy. What do I multiply 3x cubed by to get a 6x to the 5th? 3 times 2 is 6, and x cubed times an x squared is x to the 5th. So that's going to be 2x squared times 3x is 6x to the 5th. I take the 2x squared times another negative 2x squared, so it'll be a negative 4x to the 4th. I take the 2x squared times an x, and that's going to be a positive 2x cubed. And that's the purpose of having that place value holder here, so I have a spot to put that term. Draw the line, change the signs, and now we're going to add. These terms will reduce. 4x to the 4th minus an x to the 4th is 3x to the 4th. We add these. It's 0 minus 2x cubed, so negative 2x cubed. We've gotten done with all of our addition or subtraction in that case, so we bring down our next term, which is plus 12x squared. Now we're back to our strategy of thinking, what do I multiply 3x squared, or 3x cubed by to get a 3x to the fourth? And the 3's are already there, all I need is an x, so we're going to go plus x. All I got to do is multiply by x, so x times 3x cubed is 3x to the fourth. Take the x times negative 2x squared, that's going to be a negative 2x cubed. Then I take an x times an x, which is positive x squared. Okay, we draw the line, we change the signs, so instead of a plus, you got a minus. You got a minus becomes a plus, the plus becomes a minus, and now we're adding the opposite, so these will reduce. It's a positive 2 and a negative 2, they'll reduce, and all we have left then is 12x squared minus an x squared, which is an 11x squared. Next thing we do after we get done with subtraction, we drop down our last and final number, plus 15x. And then we'll have to ask ourselves, what do we multiply 3x cubed by to get an 11x squared? Okay, and here's one more little twist in this one. Like I said, we're still going to use the same strategy. What do I multiply 3x cubed by to get an 11x squared? Well, because the x cubed is bigger than the x squared, it will not go in there evenly, so therefore we're done with our division, and this is our remainder. So plus 11x squared plus 15x all over our divisor, which is 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus x. So using long division, this is the result that we get.